Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We are back again for the Kneejerk stream. But yeah, we've just watched obviously the Man City game, just finished. Big week of football. I think I've enjoyed it. Um, yeah, how you doing, Jordan? How's your weekend been?
Yeah, it's been great in terms of obviously football. It's been really nice. It's obviously match day 2 of Gameweek 22, and yeah, we just watched Man City Ipswich, massive score, obviously, and just to round up today's games. But yeah, it's been so far so good and
Mm,
a lot of excitement matches.
yeah, we'll get into it all. But yeah, if you guys are tuning in, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and ring that notification bell on the video as well, please. Got Genius Gamer already joining. Hey all, hope you're well. Just yeah, so let's kick off with my team. As you can see, I am on a green arrow, I believe. Just um, so let's kick it off with the goalkeeper Raya. Now, Arsenal played yesterday evening, 5:30 kickoff, I think it was against Aston Villa. Um, Arsenal 2-0 up, and they're pretty much cruising at this point. When it went 2-0, I thought, this is it, game over. Arsenal probably gonna just play the game out, win 2-0. But Aston Villa obviously had other ideas. They go and score 2 goals within 8 minutes with Tielemans and Watkins. I thought both goals were pretty, if you're an Arsenal fan, obviously poor to concede errors defensively. So, yeah, they concede 2 goals, and Gabriel as well, with the 2 goals conceded against Aston Villa in the 2-2 draw that we saw. Moving on to Trent, and yeah, it's another big score from Trent, which I'm happy about. Obviously, he got the assist for the winner, Darwin's first goal in that crazy Liverpool match. I think Liverpool had 37 shots, the most of any team, away team in I think 12 years. Um, yeah, I mean, I was happy that he got the assist, but I'm more happy with the clean sheet as well. Obviously, I don't know if he picked up any bonus. I think he did. I think he got 2 bonus. Um, but yeah, nice to see Trent returning again, 11 pointer, and I will be tripling up on Liverpool soon with the double coming up. And Robinson as well. Very happy to see um, Robinson delivering. Fulham defense yet again, another clean sheet. And yeah, happy days. He also picked up. I think he got a bonus as well, I believe. Yeah, 2 bonus points for Robinson. So lovely. And apart from the Arsenal defense, which I will be going out of, I will be removing one of the Arsenal defenders. Probably be Raya, if I'm being honest, but we'll see. Um, Moving on to the midfield, not really anything to shout about in the midfield. Let's start with Ismail Assar. He blanked, unfortunately, in the Palace win. I had a feeling Palace would get with the job done. It was 2-0 in the end. He was subbed off after 67 minutes as well, which does concern me. So he's someone that I could even get rid of this quickly, because that was a slight worry, being subbed off 67 minutes. But I'll give him another game. Can't panic. He's got Brentford at home next, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, disappointing from Saar. Um, and moving on to Palmer, obviously he plays tomorrow night. Hopefully he blanks, because a lot of people have captained him. So obviously I don't want it affecting the rank. Um, and then Gordon as well. Another blank. I mean, no one saw this coming, I don't think. What a surprise. But a shock result. 4-1 win for uh,
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. I forgot who it was against. I watched that game. I thought Bournemouth were excellent. Semenyo, Clivert, fair play if you've got it. Clivert, obviously hat trick. And yeah, Newcastle absolutely, you know, didn't expect that coming, but that's the Premier League. And if you don't turn up, you can get beat. But yeah, unfortunately, Gordon blanked. Salah again, another blank from him, with just the assist point. Again, wasn't his best game, but I didn't think he was bad. I thought Salah wasn't great against Man United and Forest, but I think against Brentford he had enough chances, mainly to get an assist. He had a couple, potentially if Gakpo finishes it. Obviously, Gakpo missed a big chance. Salah would have got the assist. So, yeah, I'm not too worried in that Salah blank in that regard. I'm still going to captain him next week. I'm still fairly confident with the Ipswich next for Liverpool. I just conceded 6 goals to Man City. So, I think I'm going to still captain Salah for Game Week 23 in that regard. And then Rodgers, I didn't really want to play him. It was him or João Pedro. But obviously, Rodgers picked up a yellow card in that game for dissent. And he did, obviously, João Pedro outscored him by 1 point. So, unfortunately, it's only 1 point anyway. And then up front, Chris Wood yet again delivers. I mean, what's there to say about Chris Wood? He seemed like every week he's getting a goal and an assist today in their 3-1 win. I think 3-2 win, sorry, it was in the end. But yeah, Forest obviously doing very well this season. Wood, I think that's like 13 goals for him now, I believe, in the league.
14.
Yeah, 14 goals. So yeah, obviously he's doing brilliant, and yeah, really interesting to see if he can keep this up for longer. And then Isak, I thought he had one of his poorer games. I don't think he had a single shot on target. It felt like that game. He was very quiet, and I feel like Newcastle weren't great in that game at all, and a lot of people did captain Isak. And it didn't really work out. It's just one of those. But yeah, that's the team. And all in all, I've still got one player left, Palmer, to play against Wolves. And then I've also got, I think Jordan's froze there. Move him out. 1 second. I'll let Jordan join back into the stream. You froze twice already.
Yeah, there is some technical difficulties, guys. So apologies if I am freezing or disappearing through the stream.
Where was I? Sorry. Yeah, that's the team, guys. I still have Palmer left to play. I'm hoping he blanks, if I'm being honest, because I think a lot of people did go captain, potentially Palmer. So, we'll see. But 47 points, Palmer left. It's not the end of the world. I'm still on a green arrow. I don't know how big the green is, but I don't think it's that big of a green arrow. So I might even get a red by the end of and we'll see. If Chelsea keep a clean sheet, maybe. But yeah, 47 points, small green. I did go into the top 1 million. I don't know if I think I must have come back out since. But I'm hovering around the million, and I'm hoping to make some inroads now into the top 1 million between now and the end of the season. Well, we'll let you go, Jordan. Talk us through your game week.
So yeah, similar, obviously, game week in terms of points. Let's start off with Pickford in goal. The Spurs match today, earlier on in the afternoon. Quite an interesting game. Obviously, I was watching that, and yeah, Everton by half time were 3-0 up, and yeah, it looked like a very poor performance from Tottenham until obviously the second half, where they scored 2 and almost clawed it back for a draw in the late stages. But no clean sheet for Pickford. I mean, Everton did really well up to the late stage in the second half, and then conceded 2. Obviously, when Spurs made some made some substitutions, it did look like a more of an improved team. But again, very poor result from Spurs, who are now 15th. So even doing worse than Man United are at the moment. So yeah, there's interesting game, but no clean sheet for Pickford, unfortunately. Moving on to Milenkovic. Obviously, he had a goal, but it was disallowed. So I was quite disappointed. Obviously, it went to VAR, and they said no goal for him. Otherwise, it's only 1 point for him. No clean sheet. Southampton did manage to score 2, which was a surprise, because by half time it was 3-0, not the Forest. It looked comfortable. And then Southampton again made substitutions later on and managed to claw it back to 2 goals, but didn't get the win or the draw. And Nottingham Forest just about got the 3 points. And yeah, big 3 points for Nottingham Forest again, who are level with Arsenal in the table. Moving on to Robertson, who we've spoken about, also with his bonus 2 clean sheet in that 2-0 win over Leicester. Wasn't an expected clean sheet, obviously, against Leicester, who have failed to score many goals this season. So I'm quite happy with that result in defence. Even more happy, obviously, with Trent scoring double haul with the attack and return from the assist and the clean sheet with the bonus 2 on top of that. So yeah, it was a bit nervy, I guess, near the end. Obviously, it was 0-0 until Darwin Núñez came on and scored the 2 winning goals in the end. So yeah, good result for Liverpool and good result for Trent for the team. Moving on to the midfield, again, it was pretty quiet. And Burmo, who I did decide to play against Liverpool, obviously no goals were scored for Brentford in that game, so he's only on 2 points. Palmer obviously plays tomorrow in the Monday night fixture against Wolves, so we won't see what happens with him, whether he starts or not. Obviously, he is a doubt, but we'll see what the lineup is tomorrow. In terms of captains, Salah again blanks, which maybe is a surprise, maybe not, but there was an opportunity, obviously, where he could have provided an assist in terms of an attack and return, but there's nothing to be for Salah this week. Hopefully, it does change next week when he does have it switch at home at Anfield, but quiet from Salah, only the clean sheet point, and obviously 6 points for the captaincy. Moving on to Gordon, only 2 points for him. Newcastle did score, but he wasn't involved in the goal, so only 2 points from that shocking result, obviously against Bournemouth. Wasn't expected, especially at home for Newcastle, especially on the form they've been on in recent weeks. Moving on to the forwards, so obviously Chris Wood prevails again. That's his 14th goal of the season, and it's one of his best seasons for on the Forest, I believe. Which, yeah, he seems to be unstoppable at the moment. Ticks along nicely, a goal and an assist, along with the bonus 3. And yeah, with Southampton, those who did captain him, it did pay off as well. So well done to you guys who went different captain. Moving on to the other two, obviously Raul Jimenez blank. He played 70 minutes, but wasn't involved in the goals for Fulham, unfortunately. But still a keeper, I think, because he's still on penalties and still valuable option to go for with fixtures coming up for Fulham. And finally, move on to Isaac, who won't be able to beat Vardy's record of succession of goals scored in each fixture as he has blank this week. So, yeah, very surprising. A few of you did go captain Isaac as well, which I guess now it didn't pay off. Only 2 points for him. So unlucky, I think, there. Newcastle did look a bit tired, if I'm honest, in that game, and weren't the energetic Newcastle we saw in previous game weeks. Moving on to the bench, not really much to speak about. Only Munoz obviously keeping a clean sheet, which I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I remember saying to play him. I had a feeling that they'd get a clear. I wasn't convinced with West Ham with the new manager bounce.
Yeah, I thought with the new manager bounce, maybe West Ham could have scored, especially where they played against Fulham last week. But yes, interesting result. Obviously, back-to-back clean sheets for the Munoz now. So if you did play him instead of me, well done. Because I don't know I don't know who I'd take off to play Munoz, because Milinkovic had Southampton, but
yeah,
he didn't keep a clean sheet, so maybe I should have played him over him. But with the fixtures, you would think he kept a clean sheet. But other than that, Rodgers 1 point, Huijsen with 2, and Vardy Martin with 0 points. It is a very small green arrow at the moment. It's not very big, about 90k. I'm scraping the green arrow this week. I think it's a very average week in terms of points. 48 so far, with Palmer left to play. If he does play, that is obviously yellow flag, but we'll see tomorrow. But yeah, so far this week, it's been a mixture of good and bad, I think, in terms of our team.
Yeah, that's it, guys, for our team. We both have Palmer left to play in the fixture against Wolves tomorrow evening, so we'll tune in for that one. Should be a good one. We'll take a few of your questions, but we'll bring up our bus teams for game week 23. So I'll share my screen. Give me a sec. There you go. Sorry. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Hold on. Yeah. 1 second. There you go. Yeah, in terms of the team, this is what it looks like, guys. Heading into game week 23. In goal, I have Raya, who's got Wolves away. I've got a back three of Robinson, Trent, and Gabriel. I have a midfield 5 of Gordon, Salah, Rodgers, Palmer, and Ismail Assar. And up front, I've got Wood and Isak. Now, Pedro has Everton at home, as you guys can see. I'm probably going to play João Pedro for this game week. Just don't have a bit of a benching headache. I could bench Sarr against Brentford at home. I could even bench Rodgers, West Ham at home. So I'll have to decide. One of them will be benched because I do want to play João Pedro. He scored today. Obviously, it was ruled out. I don't know why it was. I didn't watch it, the goal. But yeah, João Pedro will be playing for me unless I sell him. As you guys see from this comment, Genius Gamer, João Pedro to Gakpo for the Ipswich game and for the double. This is something I like as well, the look of doing a move like this, because we know Liverpool have a double game week coming up. Gakpo seems more nailed forward when you compare Gakpo to someone like Diaz, who can get rotated out for Darwin. And we saw Darwin get 2 goals. So does Darwin come back more into the fold? We don't know if Jota's going to be fit. So I think Gakpo is more of the safe one to go for. If you don't want to go for the Liverpool attack, you want to double up on the defense, I think Alisson's the one to go for. So if you want to sell Raya, which I am looking at as well, what do you do, Jordan? I mean, would you go for Gakpo or would you prefer to go for an Alisson and try get the clean sheets?
I'd rather go for the attack option for Liverpool because we know they can score a lot of goals, and they have done obviously in previous game weeks. And yeah, I like Liverpool for clean sheets, but I think I would only have like a Trent or, as said, Alisson. I won't have like double defense for Liverpool because I know that not only Salah can score in his team. We've seen Gakpo have a really good season so far, the amount of goals he has scored. And I would like to take a punt on like someone like a Gakpo instead of having just Salah there, because he's not really a rank changer because we all own him. He's template.
Yep.
Perhaps Gakpo can be more of a differential for the double.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good shout in terms of that move. I'll come on to your team. Just read us out your 11. Just switching over.
Yeah.
Your boss team.
So yeah, we've got Pickford in goal. He's got a nice fixture for Brighton. He's just won 3-1 against Man United. So again, I like Everton's defence. Even though they conceded 2 to Spurs, I think they held up pretty well considering. It looked like it could have been a clean sheet for them if Spurs didn't slightly turn up at the end. But yeah, I have liked Pickford since I transferred him in for my wildcard, so I'm happy to play him in that fixture entirely. In terms of the back three, this week I've gone with pretty much the same back three, I believe, that I went with obviously this game week. Milenkovic, Robinson and Trent at the back. I was contemplating playing Munoz, but I see Mbeumo scoring, so considering not to play him, if I'm expecting Mbeumo to score, then he would obviously clash with my team. So I'm going to stick with this three, I believe. I'm liking the Trent one, Ipswich at home. I think that's a good fixture for him, especially with them conceding 6 against Man City. Does bring a good vibe for Liverpool at home as well at Anfield. But yeah, at the back three, I like the fixtures, especially Man United one. Robinson, I'm sure he can get something out of that in terms of an attack and return. The way they played today was shocking and probably the most terrible performance I've ever seen. So yeah, I'm happy with the back three. In terms of the midfield, it is the same midfield I'm going with: Mbeumo, Palmer, Salah, and Gordon. Obviously, we'll see with Palmer. I'm sure it's not serious, and obviously that match tomorrow against Wolves will be fine for him. So he has got Man City, which is a big game. Obviously, his previous club that he used to play for. It will be interesting to see what he does when he comes back to Man City at the Etihad. In Mbeumo against Crystal Palace away, I mean, he's had 2 tough fixtures: Liverpool and then
City as well.
City, yeah, and then City after that. So it's a nicer fixture, I think, for Mbeumo to maybe get back on the returns in terms of scoring. So yeah, happy with him. Obviously, Salah's the captain, no debate this week. Absolutely no other option comes into mind with that fixture that he has. And Gordon has Southampton away, which is again arguably the best fixture you could have, with obviously Southampton conceding 3 to Nottingham Forest. In terms of the forward line, we've got Wood, Raul Jimenez, and Isaac up front. Wood having a little more challenging fixture against Bournemouth, which hopefully he can still keep his good form up, and as well as Nottingham Forest in general. Raul Jimenez has Man United at home. I'm quite excited to watch what goes on in that drama of a match. I can imagine it will be a lot of controversial and a lot of amazing things happening. And then Isaac has Southampton away, which maybe some people will look to captain him with the outstanding fixture of this week, of obviously game week 23. So yeah, that is a starting 11. In terms of the bench, which is looking pretty strong, you've got Vardy, Marston, non-playing Brentford goalkeeper. You've got Rodgers on the first team bench, who's got West Ham at home. Huijsen, who has Nottingham Forest at home, and Munoz, who has also a home fixture against Brentford. So the bench is strong. If there's any doubts in the starting 11, then I'm pretty much covered in that regard. So yeah, Captain Salah, the vice is on Isaac, and yeah, that is my team looking what it's looking like.
Elika, evening boys. Chris Wood, my hero and captain, paying off. 1.3 million. Captained Isak. What's Chris Wood, my hero and captain, paying off?
Did you mean you captain Chris Wood, or did you mean you captain Isaac?
I don't know what he means by that. Let us know. You've made two different comments. Pretty much all the midfielders flopped this week. Thank God, not a lot of people own Foden. Yeah, Foden obviously. I mean, he's gone under the radar. Foden has actually scored, I think, 4 goals now in his last 4 games. He had that run. He's had a few returns now in a row. Obviously, Man City's fixtures have turned now, so we'll see what they do in the coming fixture run. But Foden has scored 4 goals now, or is it 5 goals in his last 4? What do you think about Pickford, Trent, Konate, Hall, Bruno, Salah, Palmer, Mbeumo, Gordon, Wood, Isak, and bench? Fabianski, Pedro, Milenkovic, and Robinson. 1 free transfer. Maybe you want to try bringing a triple Liverpool asset.
Yeah, just going back to obviously Everton game where they scored 3, which it does feel like it has been a while since we've seen goals from Everton.
Yep.
DCL looked pretty good, if I'm honest.
No, I wouldn't go there. I had DCL, and no, I'm not going back to DCL.
Just for that double game week, it could be tempting. Just for that double, though. I mean, the way Everton, of course, Liverpool.
Is it Liverpool and who else is the other game for Everton? It's Bournemouth, I think, isn't it?
I think so, Bournemouth.
I'll let you check.
Yeah.
My plan is Jackson, Lewis, Sarr, and Timber to Trent, Virgil, Raul, or DCL, and Dibbling. Well, Dibbling's out for 6 weeks, guys. If you didn't know, Jazzy Aspires. I've seen the news on Dibbling. Apparently, he's out for 6 weeks. So I already got 3 Liverpool: Trent, Konate, and Salah. Yeah, fair enough. Then you might want to bring in. I mean, your team looks fine to me. Not really a move I think you have to make this week. You could roll.
I mean, the only move I would make is probably take João Pedro out. Because I don't believe you need him in your team anymore, even though he had this disallowed goal today. That's the swap I was potentially looking you could do. Take João Pedro out for DCL, maybe. Take a cheeky little punt on him. He's got Liverpool and Leicester in a double, so I think he's more worthwhile in the Leicester game than he is in the Liverpool one, but maybe he can get something out of that game with the chance he had against Spurs earlier today.
I mean, you've got 2 free transfers. What are your plans for this week?
3. Yeah, 3 free transfers.
3, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in a very luxury position in terms of that area. But again, it's going to seem boring, but I'm going to roll again. I don't think there's necessarily nothing I can really do, and I'm setting up for the double game week at 24. So until then,
you don't want to bring in Gakpo a bit early to play Ipswich at home.
Nah, I think I'm fine with Trent and Salah. I think for this week, I might change my mind. Maybe more tempting at the time, but I think I'll bring Gakpo in for the double. I think, and just roll in transfer this week, even though it's got Ipswich at home, which it makes sense to bring him in this week. But I think I want to play that front 3. I think.
Okay. Going to my team. Obviously, I could roll with this, but I think I do want to make a move. I could be tempted to play João Pedro. Let's say I bench. Rodgers, for argument's sake. I don't know who I'll bench, but I definitely want to play João Pedro, or I'll sub him. I might take out João Pedro. So I play him this week or take him out. I think Everton is still a good fixture for him. We know he had that disallowed goal today. It's been a while since he scored. He scored a penalty against Arsenal. So I could sell João Pedro to Gakpo. and do it early before the double because he's got Ipswich, which is a nice home fixture. Sorry. Let's say I do that. Let's say João Pedro goes out and I'll bring in
I think
Gakpo.
Gakpo is 7.4.
Yeah, 7.4. So I can't actually do it in one move. I'm 0.1 short, as you guys can see. So the way I'd bring him in is I'd take out Raya, and Raya will probably get a clean sheet against Wolves at the time I take him out. Then I can swap him out to Pickford for the double. Because Pickford have the double coming up. And yeah, and do that. And that's 2 free transfers. And that gives me Gakpo against Ipswich. And hopefully he can get a goal. He should have scored against Brentford, Gakpo. But yeah, that's the plan, I think. And we'll see how it goes. So it's looking like Gakpo to come in early for me.
Yeah, I think that's the move I would probably make in your position as well. Bringing Gakpo early, not such a bad move, especially with Ipswich, because he's just 6. Could be good to bring him in early for that fixture.
Let us know what your guys' plans are as well in the chat.
So you're set for the double in that case then, because you've got triple Liverpool and double Everton.
Yeah, I love double Everton. I love triple Liverpool. It's just the player I want as well. Potentially, I'll Sarr or Rodgers. I think one of them will go. Don't know who I'll bring in, but one of them could go to someone else. Maybe a Bournemouth midfielder. Maybe regret not bringing in Semenyo. I like Semenyo as a pick, but I think the fixtures are quite nice for Palace. Brentford's not a bad fixture at home. Brentford like to attack usually. I know they defended against Liverpool, but that is because they're playing Liverpool. They will usually open up against other teams like Palace. So Palace can get a goal. Man United ain't a tough fixture. Everton, Fulham, Villa haven't been too great, I know, this season. Ipswich. Palace's fixtures aren't too bad, but I really liked how Bournemouth played against Newcastle, and Semenyo got an assist. And the Semenyo fixtures aren't bad either. Forest, Liverpool get quite tough. After that, Southampton, Wolves, Brighton. So I might bring in a Bournemouth defender. I might sell one of Rodgers or Sarr. I'm not against selling. I mean, Rodgers, nice free coming up. Then after that, I could probably sell Rodgers. So that's where I'm thinking at right now for the team.
Have you thought about Kulusevski at all as a Spurs option?
Nope. Budget reasons, I don't think it's going to be hard to get to him. And yeah, I know he scored again today. I'm just not keen on Spurs. I know Spurs will get goals, but I'm not really looking at him. I think I can't even afford him. I don't believe. So one of the cheaper midfielders. I mean, Kluivert, I know might be knee-jerky, but Kluivert could become an option if you don't want to go Semenyo.
Yeah.
I think I still prefer Semenyo, but Kluivert seems to score, and he could be a good option. And he's very cheap. I think 5.5.
Yeah, he's the 4th highest midfielder to score in FPL, which is...
He's the 4th highest scoring midfielder?
He is on 108.
No
only
way.
Burmo, Palmer, Salah beat him in that run.
Is that real? Let me have a look.
He's even got more points than Saka has by 1.
Oh, wow. Okay. Then maybe Kluivert becomes an option, because you look at these fixtures. Obviously, yeah, he was a bit lucky, Kluivert, in the other game when he got his hat-trick. He scored 3 penalties. He had a hat-trick of penalties.
Yeah. That is true. That's his 2nd hat-trick of the season now, after that one against Newcastle.
He scored 1 against Arsenal. Did he score against Arsenal? Yeah, he scored against Arsenal. He scored against Brentford. He got a hat-trick of penalties against Wolves. Scored against Man United. Scored against Chelsea, and he got a hat-trick against Newcastle. So he's someone that, I mean, I didn't realize he's the 4th highest scoring player in the midfield. Only Palmer, Salah, and Mbeumo have more points than him.
It just sums up the definition of this season. It's been very unpredictable.
I mean, then again, when you put it, Ahmad, for example, has 102 points. So Ahmad isn't far away from him. So
yeah, he's also a player that scored a hat-trick this week as well. Well, not this week, but last game week.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these hat-tricks, and fair play if you got onto them, but
yeah.
I mean Ola Aina is the highest scoring defender. Salah's the highest scoring midfielder by quite a long way. And then forward is Isak and Wood is second. Haaland's still up there. I mean, Haaland's only 1 point behind Wood.
Yeah, and they're almost half the price from between each other on the same amount of points almost.
But yeah, what's your plans then in terms of for the double? Because you're gonna have, you're gonna have like 4 free transfers for the double? Let's go back to your team.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, 4 transfers for the double. So I'll be able to probably use 2 to bring in Mikalenko, take out perhaps Munoz, because he's the only player that I haven't got money invested into him. So I can decide to bring him back in after that double, and then potentially taking out one of the forwards, most likely Raul Jimenez for Gakpo, and then that should be fine for the double. Triple Liverpool, Salah, Gakpo, and Trent, and double with Mikalenko and Pickford, I think is enough cover.
Okay. Let us know what your plans are, guys. Roman says he fully agrees on João Pedro, but don't know about doing a transfer on someone I'm currently benching. For João Pedro, potential replacement, do you prefer Mateta or Wissa? I prefer Mateta, I think. Personally, rather than having double Brentford, I'd rather go one Brentford in Mbeumo, because you've already got Mbeumo. I don't think you need to get Wissa as well. There's too much Brentford for me.
Yeah, I feel like you need one or the other in terms of Brentford. I don't think you need 2 players from there. And Mateta's been on a good run. He's scored 4 goals in the last 3 game weeks, 2 being this week against West Ham. And he has pretty good fixtures, with obviously Brentford up next. 7.3 million, not a bad shout differential at 4.9% ownership as well.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the game week, it's been a bit. It's not been a great FPL like sort of week, because a lot of the main players have blanked. Obviously, Salah blanking, Gordon, Isak, a lot of the template players.
A lot of the midfielders this week are blanked.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that you're looking at on your watch list then, to bring in up? Not the obvious one. Obviously, a lot of people are mentioning Gakpo. Apart from like Gakpo, is anyone else you're looking at that you like? It's impressed you recent weeks or?
Yeah, it's very hard to really pick a player, but I suppose Watkins is on the radar for me. He's had back-to-back goals against Everton and Arsenal, both good defences. He's managed to penetrate. He has nice fixtures in the next 3, West Ham, Wolves and Ipswich. He could be one to potentially target for the next 3 if you're looking for a forward around that price, but
yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, that's the only issue. Ollie Watkins is expensive, almost 9 million. But if you can afford him, it could work out in the next 3 for him. Yep. Not a 90 minutes player. Obviously, he does rotate with Varane. You have to consider as well, but he did play 90 against Everton and Leicester.
Yeah. Now let's look at some of the fixtures now. Coming up, I want to focus on the next sort of 5 fixtures as we do. So, this is the fixture list, Jordan, coming up. Let's start off with Arsenal first. We'll give our thoughts and what we think. Obviously, Arsenal next 5. You're looking at Wolves, Man City, Leicester, West Ham, Forest. So, a couple of tough games. I think Man City at home is going to be a tough game. Of course, in Man City, we've seen they are now back in the top 4. It could be temporarily because Chelsea win, Man City go down to 5th, but City look like they're scoring a few more goals now, so we'll see how that game goes. Nottingham Forest in 27 as well, but in between that, Leicester away could be a nice game. West Ham, Wolves. In terms of the Arsenal assets for the next 5, obviously a lot of us have double defense. Do you think you need to get an attacker in potentially, or any more Arsenal assets? Sell your Arsenal assets, like me, who's got Raya and Gabriel, for example.
I think honestly, for me, you either have one asset, which might be Gabriel or Raya. But other than that, I think I would have no Arsenal attack. Because we've seen the attack hasn't been as effective without Saka. They've had a couple of injuries as well. Jesus, Nwaneri as well, and recent injury. Saliba, another defensive injury. So I think I'd only go with one Arsenal, none at all. Because obviously for my team, I've gone without Arsenal since I wildcarded. And it hasn't affected me that much, if I'm honest. So yeah, it's either one defender or no Arsenal at all for me.
Yeah, well, moving on to Villa, we'll also mention the next three: West Ham, Wolves, Ipswich, Green fixtures. Aston Villa haven't been too great at this season. Even against Arsenal, I don't think they were great. They had a couple of chances to put them away. But Rodgers is playable in the next three. Watkins, if you want to take a punt, if you've got that much money, those are the two I'll be looking at. Bournemouth is interesting. They were very impressive. I was very impressed with what I saw against Newcastle. They're up there. They're fighting for Europe as a target. Next two is, tough. Forest and Liverpool right up there. But it'll be interesting to see how serious Bournemouth are in terms of obviously getting European football. After that, Southampton, Wolves. I like Semenyo as a pick. I'm going to be monitoring Bournemouth assets for the next two fixtures when they play their tough games against Forest and Liverpool. If they do well against those teams, definitely I could be bringing some in against Southampton, Wolves, maybe a Clivert, a Semenyo, one of those two I'll be looking at. Brentford, obviously you as an Mbeumo owner, he's had two tough games. Man City obviously blank, but they did get 2-2. Liverpool now clean sheet for Liverpool. They could have scored Brentford. Maybe Mbeumo on another day can score because he did get one or two shots off, but they were pretty comfortable saves for Alisson. Palace and Tottenham aren't easy. Tottenham's a red fixture there, which might not be a red fixture when you look at the current form. But
no,
you're happy to hold Brentford assets for the next five?
Oh, definitely, yes. I might have captain Burma for Gameweek 24. Oh no, I can't. Sorry, can't obviously do it. But I would love to because of the way Tottenham are at the moment in terms of injuries and their defense. Everton managed to score 3 against them, which shouldn't have happened. But in the other in another scenario, owning in Burma just for that week is gold dust. I think that would be a huge score again against Tottenham because it's just not advisable at the moment the way they're playing. And for the next 3 after that, West Ham, Leicester, and Everton, definitely owning Burma and hanging on to him long term is a good move, I think.
Moving on to Brighton, obviously they won 3-1 against Man United. I was pretty sure they would win against United. I think if you've got someone like João Pedro, you may want to get rid of him for someone like Gakpo, if you can get Gakpo in. You could still hold João Pedro. Obviously, he's not really worked out, but Everton's a nice fixture. Forest, Chelsea, a bit tougher. Brighton, obviously, been very up and down. Not many wins this season, so you probably don't want to own many of the assets. Chelsea, no wins in 5 so far. Obviously, Chelsea look like they could potentially be up there, but we sort of did mention that Chelsea will struggle and go on a run. We'll see what they do against Wolves tomorrow, so monitor that. Man City next after that in Gameweek 23. I think Palmer is obviously still a must-have sort of in our teams, but other than that, I think your one Chelsea asset right now is fine. I'm not too keen on Jackson yet, but you never know if they play well against Wolves. That might change our opinions.
Yeah, I think Palmer's the only Chelsea asset I think you need in your team. With Enzo being in there, you could pick up an assist here and there in those next 5, but I don't think it's enough. I think you can get more from other players than Enzo at the moment, and just keep Palmer in your team.
Palace, moving on to Palace, sorry. Brentford, United, Everton, Fulham, Villa, so decent fixtures. I like Palace assets. I think if you've got Munoz, I think he's playable in a lot of these games, not just for clean sheets. I think going forward, getting attack and return. Ismail Assar, as an owner myself, I think he's good to play. Eze, they will get you the odd goal here and there, maybe some clean sheets now as well. So Palace assets, we've got them. I think play them. I think they'll come good. Everton, big win for them against Spurs, but I would be avoiding all their players personally. I know DCL scored, but he's frustrating to own. I had him start. For the double, you probably want to have at least one, maybe 2. Pickford, Mikolenko. You could take a punt on their strikers. Obviously, if you're chasing and you want to go for someone like a DCL, it's not the worst shout. But even after that double, the fixtures, Palace, United, Brentford, up and down. So I think you can get 1 or 2, but it'd be more defensive players than forward players, I think.
Yeah, because the one fixture you're really looking at is the Leicester at home one, where you'll think, if you're going for an attacker, DCL would be perfect or almost perfect if they are scoring more goals now, like they did against Spurs. But the Liverpool one, obviously, the one that might not get much out of in terms of
the derby. So they'll be up for that game, Everton. Yeah. I'm fairly sure. So they'll make it tough for Liverpool.
I think the best result that can come out of that is a 0-0 for the defender clean sheet points. But I don't really see a goal score against Liverpool. But yeah, as I said, it is a derby. Anything can happen, and this season's proved it's been a very different one.
Fulham, I'd be avoiding probably right now. I mean, if you've got Jimenez, I think it's good to play against Man United. If you've got someone like Iwobi, definitely still good enough to play against Man United. Fixtures aren't too bad. I mean, a couple of grey fixtures. Newcastle away is not easy. Forest, Palace. So they're not the best fixtures, but you can still play a Raul Jimenez if you just need to get by with him. Ipswich would be avoiding. Liverpool next. Villa, Tottenham, Man United in the next 5. So, yeah, not much to say. Leicester, we're going to ignore. We don't want to have any of their players. Liverpool, we've mentioned, obviously, everyone's got Salah. Most likely got Trent. If you don't have Trent, I think bring him in with a double coming up. And it's the question is who's the third Liverpool asset? Do you go Alisson? Do you go Gakpo? Leaning towards Gakpo at the moment. I like Alisson as a pick. You could go Konate if you want to save yourself a bit of money, but I would go with Alisson over Konate. I'll be worried with minutes wise for Nunes or Jota or even a Chiesa or anyone else. I just think Gakpo is more nailed and more minutes. I mean, Gakpo probably does get benched in terms of coming off early. In one of those doubles, he might play 60, 70 minutes. It was a quick turnaround potentially. Sorry, I think there's a gap actually between the 2 double game weeks. So I think Gakpo is the safest one to go for out of all the other attackers. Nunes might miss one, Jota might miss one, and Diaz, he might even miss one. City is interesting because they're back in top 4. They scored 6 goals today. Big win for them. But you look at their fixtures, it's as tough as it gets, really. Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Spurs. Spurs away a red fixture is interesting. But we know Man City's record isn't great against Spurs. So in terms of Man City assets, Jordan, what do you make of them? Are you still waiting and see if they can put some wins in this run?
Yeah, it is a wait and see for sure. Because last game week they were 2-0 up against Brentford, and then they lost that 2-0 lead and ended up drawing against Brentford. Yep. Even though they won 6-0 against Ipswich, no offense to obviously Ipswich, you're a fan, but they are not the challenging team that Man City can face in the season. So I'm not going to take that into consideration. But these next 6 fixtures will be the defining point of Man City, I think, this season, whether they can sort of turn it around or not. Obviously, for the top 4 finish, but with those fixtures in the next 5, I can see Nottingham Forest on the end there after Tottenham as well, which is the next 6 being very difficult. Yep. I see Man City dropping points here and there, let's just say. Unless they can turn it around like they did against Ipswich and do performances like that against these teams, but I don't honestly see it happening with that run.
Yeah, the players would want to get potentially a Foden if you can afford him. I think Foden could be decent even in this run. He could get you a couple of goals. Man City won't lose all 5, I don't think, in a row, but I'm not going to someone like Haaland or anything yet. Man United, I think, is interesting again. Weird team, obviously losing today. They're putting some decent performances as we've seen against Liverpool and Arsenal in the Cup. But against Southampton, I thought they were poor before Ahmad comes and saves it. Today, they deserve to lose. Fixture-wise, Fulham, Palace, Spurs, Everton, that isn't an easy game. They could easily not pick up 3 points in the next 4. They probably will get you a win here and there, but apart from Bruno, who's a lot of money, Ahmad is someone that you could go for, but those are the only 2 really that you can go for, I think, Ahmad or Bruno. And even then, you don't know. Ahmad could get a hat-trick against Palace. They're one of those 2 you cannot predict what United are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's for me, total void after watching that today. It's just a total void for any assets. Bruno's too expensive, even though he scored a penalty, which without that penalty, that's a 3-0 loss for Man United. No returns, no clean sheet for them. And at home to Old Trafford, that's terrible. And those fixtures up next, I don't know what will come from those for Man United, but it doesn't look good from the perspective of Brighton today. It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, just following it up, Newcastle, I think Isak Gordon are still good holds. I think you could sell Gordon or maybe Gordon for another better midfielder with fixtures when they've got Man City, Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. That's a tough run for Newcastle coming up. So maybe you want to just have Isak when that comes to that time. So we'll see how Newcastle do, how they recover against Southampton, and should get a win. But I think for now, Gordon and Isaac are still fine. Lewis Hall, if you've got him, could get a clean sheet against Southampton as well. Forest, fixtures do turn slightly. Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, Newcastle, Arsenal. So their top 4 credentials will be tested in the next 5. If Forest can get out of these with majority wins, then who knows? Top 4 could definitely be on for them. But they're doing well. Chris Wood, if you've got the defense, so I don't own any of the defenders. They're doing really well. They got the win just about 3-2 today. So we'll see how they do in the next 5, because those are games that will sort of tell us, are they a serious? I know they've played really good, but are they going to get top 4? Southampton, again, just another team we avoid. Spurs right now, you probably want to avoid all their players. You could maybe take a punt on Kulusevski. Leicester at home is a good fixture to bounce back, but Spurs are struggling as well. So I'm not looking to go there personally. But if you have Kulusevski already, you could hold. West Ham for me is a straight avoid with the fixtures they have and the form they're shown. And Wolves are the same. You look at Wolves fixtures, tough fixtures, and not really anyone in Wolves. Cunha at the start of the season sort of showed bits, but he sort of tailed off as well. So for me, we'll be avoiding Wolves as well.
Yeah, so there is a couple of teams on their avoid list now that we're in past the mid stage of the season now. So we're getting a bit of perspective on individual teams and certain teams we target now.
Would you start Rodgers this week for Jackson or sell Jackson to Gakpo? I'd sell Jackson to Gakpo.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Saliba? It's a hamstring issue. It's interesting because before the game, when the news came out, he said Saliba wasn't a serious injury. Even Arsenal tweeted say it's a minor knock. But then after the game, Arteta said he's really worried. So
yeah,
is there any update on this? What's happened to Saliba? If any Arsenal fans in the chat, let us know. Do you know? Yeah. Have you heard or?
No, nothing. I've heard more about that since Arteta said he's really worried about Saliba.
Yeah, sorry, he said he's worried, but then Arsenal tweeted saying it's just a minor. He misses out through a minor, and he was at the stadium, so I don't know how serious.
Yeah,
it's
hard to read into it. I mean, we have to wait until the next.
They play Champions League, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's part of that squad.
Yeah, I feel like he would be left out with Champions League, possibly.
Yeah.
Well, we have to wait and see.
Gameweek 25 looks perfect for Gordon to Semenyo or Cliver. Yep, I agree. Some move I'll be potentially doing. Isaac captain. Now I'm on Salah personally. I think Salah's got the better fixture. Maybe it is because we're put off by Newcastle losing, but Newcastle have an away game, Liverpool have a home game, and Ipswich have just conceded 6. Even before that, I was going to captain Salah anyway, so I am on the sort of perma cap. I hope a lot of people have been put off by Salah in the last 2-3 games, and more for me, better for me to captain Salah. So don't captain Salah, guys. I just want as many of you to captain Isaac as possible.
I think it doesn't help that obviously Man City scored 6 today against Ipswich, and they were back next to Anfield, which might tempt people into captaining Salah after that.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Michael. I mean, Southampton have been poor. Arguably, they are one of the worst teams in the Premier League that we've ever seen in terms of points totals at this stage. But yeah, I'm going Salah personally. I think we'll probably wrap it up, Jordan. Obviously, I think we discussed most things. I'm looking forward to doing the pod for Game Week 24. Sorry, Game Week 23. It's been a while since we've done an FPL pod because it's been such a quick turnaround. Obviously, another midweek game, so nice to do a pod. We'll be back again on the weekend for the deadline stream. So make sure you tune in for that. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend as well. Big results, a lot of twists and turns. Still got a long way to go. And this is where I think the season gets serious, where your rank, if you're not happy with your rank, still a lot of, lot to play for, a lot of points to get. So this is where it gets serious, I think, the FPL.
Absolutely. And obviously, we will take more risks. I think, obviously, Perma Salah captain that's good at the moment for me, but I feel like that will have to end eventually to obviously jump the rank more. It seems like it's really working still.
Obviously, Chips left. Assistant manager is going to be big. We don't know how that's going to play. First time that's come into the season. Other Chips, free hits, etc. And there will be chances to go different. There will be other double game weeks later down the line. You hope so when fixtures get rearranged. Looking forward to it all. But yeah, that's it from us, guys. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and yeah, see you on the next one.
Yes, thanks, guys. See you on the next one, and take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.